We had a different coach come up and give a motivational speech in the afternoon each day. He was our running backs coach at the time by the name of Derek Foster. Coach Foster came up there, toughness and pushing through. He got real razzed up as his speech progressed. We had a video coordinator named Rocky. He finishes his speech and he goes, "Hit it, Rock!" And Set It Off by Boosie Badass played. As a young white man, it was my first time hearing that song, Set It Off. Yeah, we finna set it off. You heard me? I'm finna put you in the trash bag. Tired of all these knowing me right now, for real. You wanna talk shit? You wanna run your mouth? You want some gangster strut your mother in the house? We'll set this job. Yeah. And that was my first time hearing Set It Off. At Samford University, it was the third or fourth week of camp. We were about where teams are right now. Right before the season, everybody's pissing and moaning. We had a different coach come up and give a motivational speech in the afternoon each day. He was our running backs coach at the time by the name of Derek Foster. Coach Foster came up there, toughness and pushing through. He got real razzed up as his speech.
And we're back. Warriors! Oh, it's good to be back, baby. I'm happy to be back here, guys. What's going on? We got maybe some people filing in the chat here. Let's click record. Let's get a ice cold water if we can. Stay hydrated. And we'll take a few minutes to recap championship weekend in the NFL. It was a good one. I was admittedly on the road yesterday. I made a split decision. I made a split-second decision to head down to Las Vegas, Nevada on Saturday after we did the confidential show only on Tim Welch's Patreon, Red Hawk Academy Patreon. And we got done with the confidential. It was about 1, 2 p.m. on Saturday and pulled up Google Maps. Las Vegas, Nevada, sat only 4 hours from where I sat. And I hopped in the car and worked out a free hotel room and headed down there to support my good friend, Sugar Shane. And I didn't go to the fight. I sat outside of the arena and watched it because I thought if I waited until the main card on Saturday night started, I thought if I waited that tickets would go down, I'd be able to get a steal and get in the building for, $150 or whatever. No. Could not get tickets lower than $3,000 after UFC 324 started. The lowest ticket I saw all week for that card was about 350 bones. So yesterday, and I'll start with the story here and then we'll get into the actual meat of the episode, championship weekend. It's going to be a short episode. I'm going to head to jiu-jitsu here in about 20 minutes. So if you're new here, welcome. This is our football show in the jar where we rant. We get literally in a jar and rant about what's going on in football, college, pro, hell, middle school, if it's applicable. But I'll tell you guys right now, I didn't watch yesterday's games live. I took my dog out to Red Rock Conservation Park outside of Las Vegas. Woke up, got some coffee, go to Red Rock Conservation Park. And right as I'm leaving Las Vegas, the sun's starting to go down. I realized my phone was pretty low on battery. And then I also realized that I couldn't charge my phone because I had spilled water on it earlier in the day, and there was water in the charging port. So I didn't have means to not only watch the game, but I also had to get myself home without Apple Maps. We did that. We got it done. And we were rolling around in the Red Rock Conservation Park for a majority of the day where there's no cell service. So I thought to myself, I'm going to do this old-fashioned. I'm going to retroactively watch these games. I'm going to try not to see anything on social media and try not to see who won. And that didn't happen. You get all these alerts. You get all these headlines. Find me somebody, guys, today. Find me somebody that is able to shut themselves off from the world so effectively that they can retroactively watch a game without knowing the results. So that's what happened. That's how I took in the games today. I knew what was going to happen in those games, so I'm sure that kind of altered my perception of the games. But you got polar opposites. And let me just say, too, before I get into the NFL games, about UFC 324, we were walking around after the fight, me and the boys, and we ran into at least two people. I know two people we talked to specifically said, oh, Song Yadong got robbed. That was his fight. That was just crazy. I thought that he should have won. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, you idiot. Like, I know I'm biased, but like, you dumbass retard. Anybody who knows ball knows that the better teams play their best late. Round 3 of this fight between Sugar Shane and Song Yadong, Suge absolutely dominated. He was at his best. He looked like he could easily go another 2 rounds, and it makes sense because they've been training for 5-round fights damn near the last 3-4 years. But it just, like, you idiots, if you think that Suge, or if you think that Song Yadong got robbed, I will say this, one of the guys in Vegas that told me that Song got robbed was also Asian. If I was also Asian and not Sean's friend, maybe I'd be saying the same thing, but that doesn't apply to me. So this guy is saying that he got robbed and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, you dumbass. You idiot. This is a fight. When one guy looks like he hasn't been touched the whole round, and Suge didn't get touched hard the whole round. He said it himself. He didn't get hit hard the entire round. And Song Yadong's face is bloodied. I mean, if anybody says that Song got robbed, did you see the knee up the middle? Did you see the damage he was taking? Did you see how smooth Suge was moving in that 3rd round? Did you see the poise and the confidence? That's how you play ball as a champion. You play your best ball late. And the only way you do that is by outlasting with the cardio. And that's what he did. So for anybody that wants to say that Song Yadong got robbed, I say to you, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Watch the 3rd round, dumbasses. All right, so now that I got that off my chest, and also the main event, UFC 324, what a fight between Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett. I saw Paddy after the fight, and you got to kind of feel for Paddy. I mean, trouble in paradise, right? But you kind of got to feel for Paddy. Like, he was propped up so much by everybody. The media propped him up so much. You're watching the debut card on Paramount Plus, and you're watching the promos for this main event, and people are saying that if Paddy wins this fight against Gaethje, that he'll be the biggest star in the UFC since McGregor. I get the accent is similar and all that, and the part of the world that he's from, but let's not compare anybody to Conor McGregor anymore. How about that? Let's just appreciate the mark that Conor left on the sport, left on the game, and let's not put that pressure on anybody else anymore, okay? Because they're saying all this stuff about Patty leading up to the fight. Could be the biggest star since Conor McGregor. And Patty's really good. I want to preface what I'm about to say with Patty's really good. I don't know if he was ready for being propped up to that magnitude. And I don't think you can really replicate what being in the cage with Justin Gaethje is like. Justin Gaethje, oldest lightweight, I think it's lightweight, oldest lightweight champion in the history of the UFC. And it seemed like every single shot that Gaethje was throwing was landing and landing hard. Patty was throwing a lot of these, like, I didn't really understand, why Patty kept it on the feet the whole time. I wouldn't want to stand with Gaethje ever. I'm 230 pounds. I'm not standing with Gaethje. So I was wondering why he didn't take the fight to the ground. And somebody I do the Confidential show with, if you're an MMA fan, you'll know his name. Joe Diesel Riggs was telling me, because Justin Gaethje's an Arizona native. He's from Safford, Arizona. And Diesel was telling me that Gaethje is an incredible wrestler. He just chooses not to use it. He wants to bang. He wants the fight to be violent. And so I have to think, in talking to the people I've talked to, I would have to think that Patty Pimblett knew how good Justin Gaethje's wrestling was. He had to have, because he just wasn't shooting takedowns at all. And he was standing there and taking damage. And there were points in the fight where Patty landed some shots, but Gaethje came out of that fight looking like he didn't even fight. And Patty was throwing like these weird kind of like looping shots where his wrist was almost like going down like that. He was like almost like swatting at him like a cat. It was interesting. But every single shot that Justin Gaethje threw at Patty Pimblett seemed like it was landing hard. I mean, that main event absolutely delivered. Patty's face after the second or third round, it looked as if he shouldn't have been. It looked as if the fight should have got stopped. But again, props to Patty Pimblett, man, for standing in there and not going down after taking all that damage. Scousers don't get knocked out. They emphasize the CK and the D. Knocked out. So anyway, that's my recap on UFC 324. Went down to Vegas, watched the fights, hung out with the boys, and supported Sugar Shane. Huge win, man. Huge win. A lot of people were saying that, they were saying bad things about my friend Sean, and it really, really made me mad. And so I was really happy to see Suge get the dub. So championship weekend. That's why I had to retroactively watch the AFC and NFC championship game instead of watch it live, was because I was in Las Vegas, supporting my friend at UFC 324. I lost $160 on the roulette table. Really pissed me off. And again, I don't know how people spend longer than 12 to 24 hours in Las Vegas, especially when you're down on the Strip. I just don't know how you do it. That city is alluring. You pull up and you just feel this immense sense of euphoria, and then by the time you leave Las Vegas, it's completely drained you. So I was rolling around. That's why. Let me just get to the damn point. God, polar opposites were these two games. AFC championship was a complete defense knockdown, drag out. Started to see inclement weather, to say the least, in Denver down the stretch in the second half. And here's what I think about the New England Patriots. They have the skill of winning. Now, winning is a skill set. Winning is a skill set. And I still believe with everything in me that defense
wins championships. There's a ton of missed field goals in the game. Ton and tons of missed field goals. And you got to attribute that to the conditions. Denver had a series where they were in very deep, 4th and 1. I'd imagine the reason they went for it was because of how much faith they had in their defense. Maybe try to get a flip the field opportunity. And 4th and 1, they play action with Jarrett Stidham. They roll him out to the right. They try to hit a little arrow route in the flat, and it just doesn't work. Okay? And the weather starts rolling in, and the winners, regardless of the conditions, are going to find a way to win. And I truly put this victory in AFC Championship, the credit at least, in the hands of the New England Patriots. New England Patriots are the first team in NFL history to win 9 road games in a season. They are 9-0 on the road. They finished the year 9-0 on the road because obviously the Super Bowl is at a neutral site. You can't categorize that as a home win or an away win. Road games are obviously the hardest in NFL. Traveling, dealing with the home crowd, sleeping in places you don't normally sleep in, eating food you probably don't normally eat. You don't have your wife baking cookies for you at home when you're on the road like Drake May does. And listen, the Patriots won 9 road games. That's never happened. They're comfortable everywhere. And to me, that is a characteristic of a winning team, a winning organization. So 9-0 at home, first team in NFL history to do that. Seems like there's a lot of firsts in NFL history going on this season. A historic season, however you cut it. We're going to figure out, by the way, how to keep the show afloat with no football for the next 2 weeks and then no football for the next May, June, July, August, 6 months after that. We're going to continue to be live every single day, whether you guys lose brain cells or not. It's not really up to me. But here's the deal. Drake May, first quarterback to beat 3 top 5 defenses in a playoff run. Is that correct? 3 top 5 defenses in a playoff run. Drake May, New England Patriots, the first team ever to beat 3 top 5 defenses in one playoff run. Seattle would be the 4th. So they beat Denver. What has their run been? I'm completely blanking. They beat Denver yesterday. They didn't have a bye. Lord have mercy. Let's see. Okay. LA Chargers, that was a wild card. That's right. Texans, yep. 3 of the top 5 defenses. That is verified. Beat the Chargers in the wild card, beat the Texans in the divisional, and then beat the Denver Broncos in the championship. And now, if they beat Seattle in the Super Bowl, they will be the 4th top 5 defense that they've beaten in the playoffs alone. And Drake May would be the first quarterback to do that in franchise history. Another historical metric. Mike Vrabel, the head coach of New England Patriots, could be the first guy to win the Super Bowl as a player and a coach with the same organization. Elite defenses are championship-tested units, and New England just beat 3 of the top 5 defenses in the league. So everybody wants to talk about the winning percentage of New England's opponents this season. I think it was like in the 300s. Everybody wants to say they didn't play anybody. But when the lights come on, it's playoff time. They beat 3 of the top 5 defenses in the league. And they'll have a chance to beat the 4th in Seattle in the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. What else do we have? What other narratives? There's one other historical metric that I'm struggling to recall right now. Drake May also making his Super Bowl in his 2nd year as a quarterback. He's the only other quarterback to do that in recent memory next to Joseph Lee Burrow. And there's only been 3 teams in the AFC to make the Super Bowl in the last 10 years or so. I think since 2016, the only 3 teams to make the Super Bowl are the New England Patriots, the Kansas City Chiefs and my Cincinnati Bengals made it one time. What a story to have Mike Vrabel up there after being fired from the Tennessee Titans. I mean, I don't know whether I don't know what fan base is sicker seeing this New England Patriots franchise make the run that they're making. I don't know if it's fans in the AFC East. I don't know if it's Buffalo Bills fans or Jets fans. I mean, Jets fans are probably pretty numb, or Dolphins fans. I'd imagine they're pretty numb too if they even exist. But I don't know who would be sicker, that group of fans or the Tennessee Titans fans, as they face some very inclement weather at the moment down there in Nashville. They have to deal with this guy, I almost said GD. They got to deal with this damn ice storm down there in Nashville, and they also got to deal with a head coach that they chose to fire, their ownership chose to fire, head to the Super Bowl with another team. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. You got to think where the Tennessee Titans would be if Miss Amy didn't get so emotional, like some ladies do. I got to be careful. I'm saying, though, man, where would the Tennessee Titans be if they had a functional ownership group that could act? I mean, I feel like I would have known to keep Mike Vrabel in there as the head coach. I mean, you got to be sick if you care about the Tennessee Titans in any way, watching Mike Vrabel make this run with the New England Patriots. I'm just saying what I think is going on. He's with Cleveland. Some people were wondering when he was going to get back in the head coaching game, and then this job with New England comes open. New England had 13 losses last year, and that's the historical metric that I was looking for a moment ago. New England is the first team, I believe, in NFL history to have 13 or more losses in a season prior and then go to the Super Bowl the next year. A lot of history going down in our league right now, guys. Mike Vrabel doesn't want to be compared to Bill Belichick. That's the next narrative. I don't know why you would. And I'm trying to think what else we got here for the AFC Championship before we move on to literally the polar opposite in the NFC Championship. We've got probably 5 or 6 minutes left with each other today. I've been late. Late today, been late, and that kind of thing. So I have, if you guys know the show, if you're fans of the show, I'm sure some of the folks watching are, you know that we have AI create an outline for us each day. And some of these narratives that it spins are helpful for us to keep the show flowing. Others are just kind of, what the hell are we doing? It says here, Patriots secondary narrative. Stephon Diggs washed up, false narrative. I don't know if I've heard anybody say that Diggs was washed up. I don't think I've heard anybody say that. I think that's ridiculous if people are saying that. Eli Cash, shout out to Eli. He says, go Hawks. They played great, man. They really did. I don't know how we're going to go 2 weeks without football and then 6 months without it after that. But that's just me thinking out loud. Look, I thought that New England's defense won them this game. And I think just the skill of being a winner, and it's a completely ambiguous thing to say. That's probably part of why it's so hard to be a winner, is because being a winner is different for everybody. But, Mike Vrabel has spun this narrative in the locker room. Road Warriors, come out and play. And I think they go into other people's building with this mindset of, we going to walk in your trap and we going to take over your trap. I think it's very simple. You grab your balls and you do what you got to do regardless of what's going on. I mean, that snow looked like it was driving in Denver in the second half. It looked like the Patriots were dealing with it better than the Broncos at home were dealing with it. And I think sometimes, everybody here knows. You guys hear the dog barking. It's probably the
Damn mailman. Shut up! Pray the damn mailman. But everybody knows here that we got a bias towards Southern football on this podcast. I don't think that's a secret, but I do think a huge advantage that teams located up north have is being able to play in cold weather late in the year. That's why, I mean, let's be real. Do a lot of Southern NFL teams show up late in January? No, they don't. They're just not accustomed to playing in the cold a lot of the time. You know, we've seen L.A. advance. We've seen – thank you, Eli. Appreciate the sub, brother. Look, and we had all this talk, and we'll move into an NFC Championship game, and then I got to split here, guys, in a minute. But thank you to everybody who's subbed. Thank you to everybody who's watching. If you're new, welcome to the show. We're the fastest-growing football show in the land, and we need your support. We need your help. We need you to come in on the ground floor and hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We're here every day, Monday through Friday, around 6:30 Eastern. So the NFC Championship game, we all thought weather was going to be the factor in that game. It didn't look to be the case there compared to the AFC Championship, and I thought the Seahawks just dominated the game up front. I was watching the trenches the whole game. That's typically how I watch. I like to watch the trenches. I like to watch how the line of scrimmage is moving, whether it's moving back, whether it's moving forward. And it was very, very seldom that I saw the Seattle Seahawks front move back on at least their offensive line. I didn't clock them really allowing the line of scrimmage to be moved back one time. I thought they did a great job. I saw one play in particular. It was a screen where 61 for Seattle did a beautiful job. He got a good punch up front, and then he shucked the guy by and got out there and picked up the linebacker. I thought Seattle's defensive front played really well. Obviously, a top defense in the league. And I think down the stretch, what killed the Los Angeles Rams on the last couple series were missed tackles. Missed tackles, just allowing Seattle's ball carriers to get an extra couple, extra 3, extra 5, sometimes extra 10. And I mean, what can you say about Jackson, Smith, and Jigbo? What can you say about JSN? I think if you're talking about 99 overall, game-breaking, will get theirs no matter how you game plan for them, receivers in the league right now, it's Jamar Chase and it's JSN. I don't think you could put anybody else in the same category at receiver right now in the NFL. I don't think it's a debate anymore with Justin Jefferson. And I think you have a lot of other great receivers in the league, obviously, that play the game their way. But it seems like the way the game has moved, the way the game has changed, or however you want to talk about the state of football right now, it's about shorter, compact receivers that are strong and have really great feet and strong hands. That's Jamar Chase. That's Jackson Smith and Jigba. And I mean, he took the freaking thing over, man. And here's the thing with the NFL. It's one thing for a player like JSN, a receiver, to take over one game or to take over a really big game like the NFC Championship. We have seen this consistently from JSN all year. It does not matter how you game plan for him. It does not matter what kind of coverage you go with. It doesn't really matter what kind of pressure Sam Darnold's under. He's been able to respond even with pressure in his face. He's going to get JSN the ball. JSN's going to hurt you. And I really only feel like I feel like the highest echelon of receivers right now in the NFL is Jamar Chase and JSN. I don't think there's any other receiver in the same conversation. And I mean, he played his ass off. He played his absolute ass off. And look, you look at this 2018 draft class, and I do have to run in a second, guys. But you look at this 2018 draft class, you got Baker Mayfield, went number 1 overall. You had Lamar in that draft. You had Josh Allen, I believe, in that draft. And you also had Sam Darnold at the number 3 pick. This is no longer the Lamar Jackson draft, the 2018 draft. It's no longer Lamar Jackson's draft. It is the Sam Darnold draft.
the Sam Darnold draft class. And it was an offensive shootout. LA had his chances to win. And I think it's safe to say that the MVP award is going to Drake May after this championship weekend in the NFL. Drake May is your 2025 MVP. And I'd also like to note that we called both games correctly on the show late last week. We had the Patriots getting the win. I actually said that you're an idiot if you thought Denver was going to win that game against New England. And I was checking the score a little bit throughout the game as I was rolling through the Red Rock Conservation Area outside Las Vegas. I was checking the score, and Denver scored first, and I was sweating a little bit. You know, we're not that big of a show yet where I would face tons and tons of blowback for saying something like that. But, you know, you do a show like this, you want to make good takes. You know, you want to make good takes. And I said, if you thought Denver was going to win that game, you're an idiot. And I ended up luckily being vindicated. And same with Seattle. I had Seattle. I think, again, the main job as a head coach, X's and O's are important. Player evaluation is important. Relationship with the players is important. But I genuinely feel like one of the top skills, if not the top skill, you got to have as a head coach in today's era of football, college or pro, and really for all of time, I feel like coaches have needed to have this skill set, is being able to spin a narrative. You know, they asked Mike McDonald on the podium after the game, you know, how do you feel about being overlooked in the preseason in NFC West and then beating San Francisco and LA on your way to the Super Bowl? And Mike McDonald gave an answer that I loved. He said, I don't care. I don't care. And that's the mentality. Doesn't care who you don't. It doesn't matter who you put in front of us. We're going to do our best to break their will and eat them alive. That's all there is to it. All right, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Hey, I got to upload the audio episodes or update them, but you can catch us on those as well if you want to listen with your phone screen locked. I know that's a big thing for some people. So we're live on all audio platforms. Typically, that's updated daily. You can watch replays of this episode vertically. So watch it on your phone. If you want to watch replay on YouTube for our show, and then also we go live on Kick and Twitch. We're here around 6:30 Eastern, Monday through Friday, every single day. We'll be back here tomorrow, continuing to try to cover football as we go on a 2-week drought, followed by a 6-month drought of football. So hang with us. This is just the beginning of the show. We're going to be here for the rest of eternity. Subscribe to the channel, and that's that. I'm going to head to jiu-jitsu now, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed the program. A little 33-minute, 34-minute episode. That's what we're talking about, baby. I'm sure we'll have more to offer on these games tomorrow, so check back with us tomorrow. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you already subscribed, you know I love you. Appreciate everybody in here. Thank you.